Gary, seen this? They're alive. Capital Games is still alive and breathing, people. Oh my goodness, it's been a long time since we had some actual conversation, some actual discussion going on in this game. People have just been kind of going along with the motions right now, but we got something today that might seem minor on the surface, but I think if we dig a bit deeper, we can find some cool stuff to talk about, because Capital Games is kind of historically known for doing some minor changes to game interactions and ability interactions, and then something big comes out not too long after, as I'll talk about today. So I know everyone's waiting for new content right now. It's been literally ages since we had something new to do. I guess Genos' Territory is new. It's kind of a reskin thing, but still, that's the last time we've actually had some actual fun stuff to try out. If in case you're curious, the next new stuff that's happening really is just that Grand Arena Championships is going to be repeating itself, the same old thing we've been having before. It'll start on October 1st. So they are working on some new stuff for Grand Arena Championships to bring us to season 2 of Grand Arena Championships, but they said they aren't ready just yet, so they're just going to be rerunning the current the system we have for championships. So we'll see whenever these changes come. I'm guessing November is when we're finally going to see a new type of Grand Arena, whatever season 2 is going to bring. But the thing I want to talk about today, I mean, there's kind of 3 points to it, is this change to Advantage. And let me just preface this. Usually if the studio feels like they need to change how an ability interacts in the game, or how it's processed into code, generally the next update is going to include something that's going to be very big, and it's going to involve this. And I'll give a couple historical lessons on this in a second. Before we get to that, let's read it, because one, just from a strategic standpoint, it's important to understand how Advantage is going to be working going forward. So if, in case you don't know, Advantage is a buff, and it's basically a guaranteed chance to apply a critical hit. However, if there's foresight or critical hit immunity, the advantage just kind of goes to waste. Well, now they're wanting to make a change to it, and this is going to be very important as we talk about what the current meta is and what we're waiting for the next big thing, whatever it's supposed to be. So they're trying to make things a bit more consistent, because right now, as I said, if you have advantage and your opponent has critical hit immunity, advantage will not be consumed in the attack, which is good because you're not landing a critical hit. This is the thing that's always been kind of cruddy. You have advantage and your opponent has foresight, the advantage will be consumed. That has been the cruddy thing. And if you have advantage and your opponent has both critical hit immunity and foresight, advantage will be consuming the attack. So it's basically just this foresight problem that's been wasting your advantage. So in the next upcoming content update, meaning there's actual content bringing through the update. Can't talk today. They're going to be bringing this change right here. They are changing it so advantage is no longer going to be consumed when the attack is dodged in this next content release. Advantage is going to stick around a lot longer. This is a buff to advantage, which is going to help out a couple current teams right now, but I think it's more important for whatever the next big thing is going to be within this next content update. And here's where things get interesting. It's such a very minor thing to look into right now, because right now there's not a lot of big teams that rely on advantage too much. Nothing important for that matter. So they put a lot of focus into this for some odd reason. In general, it felt bad to lose advantage and not land a critical hit, which I do agree, but it's never really something I thought about too much in this game. This drove us to decide to boost the power of advantage and minimize the bad experiences instead of diminishing its power. And as I said, this change is scheduled to go live in the next content update. So stay tuned for update notes with this change. So that's good. We're actually going to get some, hopefully a nice update soon to bring in some more fun into this game. And you might be wondering, all right, well, why are you bringing this up? Why is this that important? Why are you making a 10-minute video on it? I kind of been kicking this horse so much. This horse has been dead for a long time. We've been kicking it for so long. Darth Revan Malak has been meta for quite a long time in this game, and usually around this time, 6-7 months into a meta, something happens. And when the meta starts getting diverse, like I talked about the other day, something comes in to really mix things up, and something's going to gain dominance once more. And there's 2 ideas that I have. Actually, we'll say 3. The first lowball idea that's going to be kind of easy to argue right now is that First Order, just in its current state, this is a buff for them, because First Order, they've been really falling to the wayside. They're kind of a C-grade team, slowly losing their prominence in their power, I suppose. It's really going to be important, because when you look at, for example, Kylo Ren Unmasked's leadership, when you're landing a critical hit, you're getting 20% Terminator. So getting advantage is going to maximize the leadership capabilities of, for example, Merciless Pursuit through Kylo Ren. I know Captain Phasma gives a ton of advantage through her Victory March, and of course she has a lot of other fun things as well. So just from a very easy thing that we could say you're going to get an immediate gain from, First Order has become a little bit better. Their abilities they're not as laughable as before. If they can't land a critical hit, they'll hold on to and use it when they finally can utilize that advantage. It also will be helpful for ship content if you care about that. There are a lot of times where your critical hits are just kind of being wasted with your advantage, so that's kind of a nice thing. But let's move on to the more spicy stuff, the things that people want to get excited for. And this is where I have the two fun ideas. And when you understand that we're in this Clone Wars era content, and the other day the developers teased that there's something coming that is going to take advantage of critical damage up. There might be something that's going to have advantage, and that's also going to take advantage of this critical damage up synergy, because the developers tease, hey, there's nothing in the game right now that has critical damage up. I wonder what's going to be happening. So advantage will amplify the potential of this critical damage up on Echo. And what is one of the problems we have right now in the current state of the meta? One of the main problems, among many with the Darth Revan and Darth Malak, is that Bastila Shan's corrupted battle meditation has been one of the most overpowered things we've had in this game for quite a long time. If you have it, you lose critical chance, you can't counterattack really, and it comes with a whole other a series of problems if Darth Revan is leading Bastila Shan Fallen. And you've seen this sometimes when I'm running a battle with Anakin Skywalker, you have the critical chance up, but you have corrupted battle meditation, and you're hoping for a critical hit, and you don't land one. So the point is, anti-critical hits is kind of one of the problems right now, and really the only way to get past corrupted battle meditation is going to be advantage, because you're guaranteed a critical hit, so it ignores the corrupted battle meditation's reduction. So it could be very well possible in this next content update we're going to finally see what the next big character is. The developers said back in August that they're kind of like, they were like midway or something like that with their epic confrontation event that they're working on. So maybe with this next update, we're going to see this epic confrontation character happen, and it might involve advantage. And that's why this long-winded point brings us here, because historically Capital Games has been kind of known that right before an update happens with a new character or a new rework, they want to take a time to make a post to clarify how an ability works. When Darth Revan came out, they had to change how Taunt and Deathmark interacted with one another before another big major content release came out with a new character and new abilities to conquer the old meta. They come out, clarified changes they want to make to a particular ability or status effect. So it could be very well possible that we're going to be getting whatever the next big thing is. It's supposed to counter the anti-critical hits that the Darth Malak, Darth Revan, and Bastila Shan Fallen meta is bringing right now. So it seems kind of coincidental that the thing they're really focused on right now is the thing that's supposed to override the Bastila Shan capabilities with her corrupted battle meditation. So I don't know if it's going to be anything Anakin Skywalker pertaining to. I know we're kind of debating that we know that Clone Wars era content is going to span till the end of October, as the developer said in their recent State of the Galaxy post, as they said. So probably between now and sometime in October, we're going to see something big. And I have a hunch that that advantage is going to be important, since they had to all of a sudden care so much about it. And if you were in Capital Games' position trying to figure out how do we push out this current meta from the #1 spot, well, you just got to look at it right now and amplify its power even further. And the one true way, the one true solid 100%, almost 100% consistent way of beating Darth Revan and Malak is major, massive, critical damage up against and exploiting the ferocity that Darth Revan and Darth Malak are using. So giving advantage above would amplify those things like Anakin Skywalker or General Grievous, let's just say. We're getting even more damage and more consistent damage, so that Darth Malak and Darth Revan can't stand a chance against massive hits. Because the one thing saving them right now is avoiding critical hits, and that's all thanks to Bastila Shan Fallen. The next big character, whatever it may be, legendary, epic confrontation, maybe marquee character, let's not rule that out, because they said there's going to be more marquee characters finally happening sometime later on this year. The last thing I want to bring up is Episode 9's around the corner. And I've been kind of passively getting ready for it myself. I finally got over my distaste for Rose and Amblin in terms of their movie performance, and I farmed them solely to prepare for the next upcoming movie Rise of Skywalker. So side thought, if you are trying to prepare for this winter, which the developers tease they will be working on that stuff later on, if you watched some of my videos before, we'll probably get some Resistance and First Order love sometime in the future. So definitely farm those characters, because Rose Tico and Amblin Holdo, if I had to guess, if they really wanted to be cheeky and catch people off guard, having that be a requirement will be the case, because people still to this day who are around during the Rose Tico release just do not want to farm these characters, and I don't blame them. But there's a very good chance, if let's just say this Clone Wars era content becomes a bust and we don't even get one major thing out of this that becomes the #1 team in the game. I mean, Grievous and Padme, they're solid teams, don't get me wrong, but they're not #1 in the game. If we don't get a #1 Clone Wars era team That's going to be a bit unfortunate, I think. And let's just say they coast through the rest of the year until Rise of Skywalker. There's a very good chance that that point I mentioned earlier, with critical hits and advantage being important for the First Order, this might be setting up the First Order for whatever the next big thing is going to be. Because I'm sure when November comes around, when we change away from Clone Wars era content and head into the movie, we're bound to see hopefully a lot more content for this faction. So this seems to be a very specific thing they're looking into. And I think right now most people are kind of sitting on the thought that legendary or epic confrontation Anakin, whether General Anakin or Fallen Anakin, I'm not sure if we're ready for Fallen Anakin, although I really wish that does come into the game soon. So let's buckle down and see whatever this next content update is going to be. We'd love to hear your thoughts down below. What are your thoughts? Is this simply maybe just an update for Advantage and we're maybe looking too much into it? I think not, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Comment down below. Be sure to like if you did enjoy the video and subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And I'll talk to all the lovely people in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Party Richter, Party Richter. Get down, 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 down. Party Richter, Party Richter. Son of a bitch. Party Richter, Party Richter. Get down, down, down. Shut up.